Your Excellencies, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I welcome each and every one of you to the first Innovation Summit in Saudi Arabia. At the heart of the transformational movement towards a greener, more sustainable future, within a nation that is visionary in its approach and equally rich in its heritage. My name is Rana Al-Hanaya, and I'm incredibly excited to navigate with you through a journey of innovation. This summit's discussions will not only look at the global scenarios, but will also highlight Saudi Arabia's notable advancements in the electrification and digitalization of its power sector. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's electrify the future together and kick off today's summit with words from a leader who actively advocates for sustainability. Please join me in welcoming Cluster President of Schneider Electric in KSA in Yemen, Mohammed Shaheen, to deliver his inauguration speech. Innovation is here. Life is on.
صباح الخير جميعاً. Good morning everyone. معالي أسامة الزامل نائب وزير الصناعة، سعادة أحمد الزهراني نائب وزير الطاقة، معالي السفير الفرنسي لودفيك، Mr. Jean Pascal Tricoire, Schneider Electric Chairman, Mr. Manishpa, the Executive Vice President of the National Operation for Schneider Electric, Mr. Walid Sheta, the Zone President of Schneider Electric, As-Sayyidat was-Sada. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Schneider Electric Innovation Summit. In a couple of days, we expect to receive more than 5,000 visitors to show the innovations, to show where Schneider Electric can support the kingdom in the 2030 vision. We will exchange our experience together through breakout sessions. We will have the marketplace to show our solutions. Hopefully, we will meet your kind expectations to be with us for the coming 48 hours. Thank you for coming, and now I will call Jean-Pascal Tricoire for his speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Salam alaikum. Good morning to all of you. And many thanks for coming to our Innovation Summit. I know that you are all very busy. You have an incredible agenda, and the fact that you come here to share with us, to dialogue with us, means definitely a lot to us. So, look, we are coming from 3 years which have been disturbed a lot. It's the first time I come back to the kingdom after the COVID, and God knows I was really tired of those small screens and faces of people on the screen. It's so good, really so good to be together and to be able to speak together about the future of our industry and technologies. I've been in Saudi Arabia only for a little bit more than 24 hours, and one thing I've realized, being away for now more than 3 years, is that I need to come very often here because things change so fast. And really, we are a global company and I go everywhere in the world, but I can't remember a place where changes are taking so fast place and to such a scale. So I'm back here and I'm going to come often so that I stay in sync with that incredible pace of the country. And what I've seen in the meetings I've had yesterday and the day before yesterday is that technology is at the heart of the Vision 2030. And Schneider is a technology company, and we want to be part of the journey, and we want to support the journey. So really, I'm looking forward to the next coming 2 days so that we can engage together, speak about the future, and work together in deploying solutions for the many opportunities happening here. So let's speak about where we are today. 3 past years have been years of multiple challenges, but when you look at what has happened is that every challenge has been actually accelerating transitions. Transition on which Schneider is working and transition of which you are working. Digitization, COVID has made us all fans of digitization and push digitization to the next level. The combined energy crisis and climate crisis has pushed to a new step the need of the transition to electrification and sustainability. And geopolitics have pushed every part of the world to an acceleration of nearshoring and reshoring, which we serve with automation on every technology that goes to industry. But let's try to take a little bit of a look at the big picture of our common challenge, because we are all in this together. And anybody who works in both climate and energy knows that all of us have to face two challenges or two duties. The first one is to bring energy to 3 more billion people on Earth. The 800 million who today don't have access to energy, and the 2 more billion people who are going to join us on the planet in the next coming 30 years. And at the same time, and these are not graphs of Schneider, these are graphs of the IEA, we know that we are not at all in the right or on the right trajectory for climate change. And we need to curb radically the emission as we go forward. The red curve that you have here on the right is where we go with the present energy model. The green curve that you see here is where we need to go if we want to keep the temperature increase below 1.5 degrees. So it's not an evolution, it's a revolution in the way we need to do things. And coming from all the think tanks around the world, it's going to come from a combination of decarbonization of fossil industries, which are going to be with us for the next many years and which are part of the energy transition. A lot of electrification, which today is 20% of the world energy consumption, but will be in 30 years 2 to 3 times this, 40 to 60% of the energy consumption, which is a major revolution in our environment. And then finally, the big unsung hero of the energy transition, which is energy efficiency. And energy efficiency is beyond climate change. It's also about money saving. It's about the capacity to execute more projects in parallel. Being more efficient in everything we do is a major part of the plan that we have in every company and in every country. So now, when you look, if we want to solve that major divergence which there is today between emission and development, it's all a problem of time and scale. And last week, we were in France with the IEA for their annual conference on energy efficiency. And from all the workshops that took place between 50 members of government and 50 companies, came the conclusion that there are 2 priorities which are pretty complementary. The first one in places which exist today, which are developed today, and of course, Saudi is a developed country. The priority is to retrofit and to bring everything we have, infrastructure, buildings, to a new level of net zero compliance. But take the example of Europe. And here you have just Europe. 75% of the buildings are non-compliant or not net zero compliant. Today, we retrofit buildings at a pace of 0.5% a year, which means that Europe would be compliant at this rhythm in 150 years, which number one doesn't fit with the objective of Europe, which wants to be net zero in 2050. And from a personal point of view, 150 years is far too long for my life expectancy. And I would like to be the generation that solves also the trajectory of climate change. So we need simply to retrofit 10 times faster buildings and infrastructure, 10 times faster than what we do today. If you look at the fast developing economies and fast developing countries, and Saudi belongs also to that group, the stake is to build net zero from scratch. But the stakes are huge. If you take Africa and India, they will see the growth of 1.3 billion people in terms of population, and that means building 100 billion square meters in the next 30 years, which is the equivalent of present Europe and present China. 40% more buildings just in those two parts of the world. So building right is really important to the future of the planet. So let's pause a little bit from the world of energy, because what we are describing here is that we need to act with a different scale and in a very short time to change the paradigm of energy. And let's take an analogy. In the 90s, the objective that we all had on the planet was to give everybody a phone line. But if you rewind back, in 1990, only 10% of the world population had access to a phone. Fast forward 30 years after today, almost everybody on Earth has a phone, more than 90% of the population. How did we accomplish that miracle, to go from 10% to 90% in 30 years? Well, we changed technology. We complemented the technology of landlines, which was working, by new technology, wireless, which enabled a completely new scale and new speed of deployment. And the phone that we had, which was just doing phone calls in the past, became now the repository of our life. The way to order food, the way to hail a cab, the way to meet, the way to hold meetings, and that changed completely the price point of a phone. So now if we revert back to energy, we are at the same sort of inflection point. And I'm going probably to say things that we all share and we all believe in, but the two inflections are digitization, and digitization allows a completely different level of efficiency. For the first time in the history of energy, everything that produces energy can be connected with anything that consumes energy thanks to digital, and everything can be optimized to the real use of energy, which was not existing before. And the second disruption is electrification. And one could say electricity is an old technology, but it's not the same sort of electrification. It's based on renewable, it's based on decarbonized energy, decentralization, and all of us can become producers of energy on our roof in microgrids close to power usages. And electrification is a combination of transition of usages and transition of supply. So the journey that we need to accomplish is on the demand and on the supply. And on the demand, it's about saving, smart homes, smart buildings, smart grid, smart metering, electrification, and we spoke about it. The fashionable part of it is vehicles, because we all love cars, but cars will become electric. But actually, probably the most impactful transition that will take place is the electrification of heating and cooling around heat pumps, for instance, and electrification of industrial processes. And at the same time, there is a whole movement on the supply to decarbonize the production of energy, speak about solar, speak about storage, decentralized or centralized, and speak about smart grids also, on demand response, which is the best way to share together energy and to be more efficient. Now, having been like most of you all my life in the sector of energy, when people speak about energy, they love to speak about supply. Oil, gas, nuclear, renewable, and so on. But when you think about the history of energy, real energy transition happened from the demand point of view. So the work that we have to do in parallel is to make sure that things move to more efficient and more electric, so that we assume together the transition to a new model of energy. Looking at the plan of Saudi Arabia, we feel very much in sync with the plans which have been drawn for the kingdom. You see around the axis of electrification, of decarbonization, and an incredible investment in data centers, because to support the digitization of our environment, we need huge data, and that data needs to be resident in the kingdom, and that needs to put into place a higher level or larger level of data infrastructure. Last week, as I was saying, there was this big meeting about efficiency, and the key question was to say, how do we go from where we are today to 10x to deploy efficiency technologies. And I won't go into the detail of all the 10 for 10x, the 10 lines which were retained as priorities to change pace, to change scale. But it starts first by the necessity to measure everything because, you know, we are all trying to exercise and we wear with watches and things to help us understand what we are doing. And the first step in the direction of a better usage of energy is to understand what we do. Then measure, knowing what's available, and there are plenty of technologies developing, skilling also our people to those new business or the new capabilities or ways of doing in energy, down to the role of the state on regulation, and everybody was agreeing that it's better to incent than to coerce in that space, and we can really help people to move on the reinforcement of the grid to make sure that that interconnection is able to bridge between green sources of energy and efficient consumption of energy. But an interesting list of very practical things to put into place all over the world to accelerate on that space. So what we see at Schneider and what we have been working for the past 20 years is a future that's going to be more digital for efficiency and more electric for decarbonization, smart and green being the practical way to go to sustainable. And our mission and our purpose on that space is to be the partner of our customers in the digital partner for more sustainability and for more efficiency. So we've been doing that for many years, and what we've learned somewhere is that a highest level of efficiency comes from a higher level of integration, therefore a higher level of digitization. And we've described that journey into 5 levels of integration. The first one is integration of energy and processes, because the only way to be more efficient is to integrate better the way people use a building, a plant, a data center, or a city. And there is no way to optimize your energy if you don't optimize your process. At the same time, processes are becoming more and more critical, and they need to be supplied by a super reliable source of energy, which digital allows us to control in a very precise manner. The second integration is making sure that everything on the shop floor is or has a digital image on the cloud or on-premise, but a digital image which means that everybody can have access to it, everybody can share it, and everybody can work on the digital model. The third integration is making sure that the digital twin is one from the design of an installation to the build of the installation to the operation and maintenance. Because today, when we do projects, when we operate facilities, there are many efficiencies which are born from a transition from one phase to the next one. Actually, our experience on the work side is that 20 to 30% of the cost of construction is reconstruction, because people come to the same work site and not completely ordered. But if you manage to preempt that with a digital model, you can make it really more efficient. The fourth one is to make sure that we move all from managing the previous way, which is side by side, to one unified operating center, leveraging the size of companies to make sure we optimize on the size, on the capability of our whole enterprise. And finally, the fifth integration in this world where demand is modulated by efficiency and production is more volatile because a part of it is coming from renewable, is optimized in real time. That connector between supply and demand, and make sure that at every time we consume the right, the cheaper, the greenest, and the most efficient energy. So I'm going to go through that in a little bit more details, but you're going to have plenty of more details on the marketplace next door. But at the end of the day, to do that, what we need on the demand side is to have one architecture of IoT, which in the case of Schneider is called EcoStruxure. This architecture that plug and play connects the physical world to the digital world. It's really important to have one data hub, and it's not any sort of data. I know that many people speak about data, but when you are in industry or in professional sectors, you need a data which is time-stamped, a data which is contextualized, a data which is federated so that you can run on it AI models which have the whole context of what is happening. Then one digital twin, which I explained, it's a life cycle integration from the design to the build to the operations. And of course, for everybody working on that in our companies, we need simplicity, one customer experience. And I know there has been a lot of buzz about the metaverse in the past 2 or 3 years, but I would argue that in the industrial sector, we've been building step by step a full enterprise metaverse where you can train your operators in virtual reality and when you can assist shop floor operators in augmented reality and double the physical world from digital elements which make life for our operators safer and our enterprises more reliable. So double-clicking on each aspect, and I'm going to fly over very fast because you're going to have plenty of opportunities to speak with our specialists. EcoStruxure that we launched 10 years ago, and which has been really having several multiple releases since then, is a plug-and-play architecture from connected products to the cloud so that everything is made transparent to anybody in the company, from the shop floor operator to the control center, so that we can mobilize all the knowledge and all the intelligence of anybody in our enterprises, including the ecosystem, to help optimizing and improving our process. The second one is the data hub. And I can't insist more on the importance of data in any approach of improvement. And data, again, has to be put in the context of industrial applications because otherwise it's just unusable. And I have to say, we at Schneider, we are not only supplying technologies, we are also operating 200 factories around the world. And I have to confess that what I need as a CEO of the company is not big data. What I need is small data, the data which is relevant, the data which I can use, the data which I can give access to all the people who can help me improving the process. And this is what we have been really working on, to make sure that this data is articulate and is documented with the right elements so that you can work on it in an industrial environment. And that allows you to connect for the first time probably all of your facilities, buildings, industry, data centers, infrastructure to one repository and to unleash the capability of your stakeholders in improving the installations. Your own developers of software, and any company can develop software on their data, but also external software developers, people who are your suppliers, people who are your customers, giving them selected parts of your environment, of your data, and all the people working in the company, from the shop floor to the control room. And of course, you can choose to use your existing software, or you can take the existing offers that we have developed at Schneider to optimize the whole life cycle of the installation. Moving on, therefore, to that software portfolio that we have today on that digital twin, from the time you design to the time you build to the time you operate, we have, for the past 20 years, worked on the integration of 3 threads. The one of the industrial or the building or the process of your company, the one of energy, and the one of the build process. And making sure that you can really, when you touch one part of it, then you can optimize all the parts of it. I'm going to take an example. You have decided to change a machine or motor which is bigger, which is more powerful. That, of course, will change the power supply of the whole installation. That might change the dimension of the room, the 3D model of the building or the plant. Then in this case, that change is happening automatically on that adjustment is done on all 3 threads at the same time. During operations, you realize that the way you built was not optimized, you can modify it. That will be reported on the digital twin and will impact the way you design buildings the next time. So there is a continuous learning on the installation that was not taking place before. Take an example, I don't need to cite the biggest company in the world on the flagship that Saudi Aramco, and we are proud and humble in supporting Aramco in improving its processes, and especially the asset management on a scale which has no equivalent in the world. The second place where we interact in a very close manner, you remember that first agenda is digitization for efficiency, the other one is decarbonization, is the agenda of decarbonization. And as we are all professionals of energy in this room, we know that energy and sustainability are one, as well as efficiency and digital are one too. So that triangle stays together and works together. But today, Schneider is advising 40% of the Fortune 500 companies in the world on their journey to sustainability. And the first step of any sustainability journey is to digitize. Because if you don't know what's happening, then you don't know where to act. And as soon as you digitize, you know exactly where to point the action. The second one is to strategize, to say in front of what I've seen, these are the recipes that we recommend. But we have somewhere one difference, is that we are not only doctors, we are also pharmacists, because we can accompany you on executing on the plans, and also we are an industrial company. So based on our experience, and Schneider has been recognized multiple times as one of the most advanced companies in decarbonization, we can share experience and bring our specialists in being with you and working on that trajectory of decarbonization. So I'm going to share with you a few examples. And what you see here is not, as you hear sometimes, about these are the technologies which are coming to the future. At Schneider, we want to be doers of this transition. And 70% of carbon emissions today, existing today, can be eliminated with existing technologies. So the problem is to deploy faster and larger than we have been able to do in the past. So buildings today with existing technology, we can get 30% energy savings. We can really get 90% of carbon reduction across stock. You see the 5 integration that I mentioned with existing solution. Let me share a few examples. This is Swire in Hong Kong, China. A lot of buildings which are now connected through one unified operating center. Energy saving by 20 to 30%. Payback is within a limited number of years, especially in some geographies. Energy can be very expensive. Take also in healthcare, and I'm proud to share with you an application here of which is really complete and really holistic of our technologies. With Dr. Suleiman Halabib Hospitals. There we are using everything, connected products, going into local controls, going into software, including our Planon software, which manages the processes in facility management, 20% of reduction in energy. But I would stop here. In a hospital, the priority is not energy efficiency, so it's a collateral benefit. The first very important thing is safety and reliability. When we all go in the hospital, and it happens to all of us at a point in time in our life, what we want is energy to be very reliable and allow us to have an impeccable service. And then 10 to 15% improvement in customer service because everything is digitized in the technical processes. Data centers of the future, it may not be known by all of you in this room, but Schneider is the largest provider in the world of technology for data centers because data centers are the highest density of energy per square foot in the world, and they tend to be incredibly critical. I mean, we all suffer if we lose a connection to our mobile phone or to the digital space. So a lot of things here happening, But data centers are a very important application for us because traditionally they have been the most digitized of all by culture. And here I want to mention what we do with STC here in their numerous data centers on supporting the ambitious plan of deployment, which is not only important for telecommunication, but for the whole digitization of what we have around us, from building into infrastructure. Then going into manufacturing, where industries have been historically very keen on working on productivity, on efficiency. And what we see here is that working on energy efficiency is also good for your productivity, because after all, it's all about eliminating waste. And a few examples that I can share here with you. What we do in the desalination plant of El Galala in Egypt, which I had the chance to visit a few years ago, where everything is connected from the shop floor to the control room. Or what we do in India, in the biggest refinery of Reliance in India, where using to its fullest digitization has allowed to increase the capacity by a lot. And you have in this refinery 300,000 points which are connected. And then China, being the second largest business of Schneider after the US on earth, want to share one example here in China, where we work both on productivity and workforce on energy consumption, using there again the combination of electrification and digitization. That concludes my presentation. I think we should realize, and we all realize, that in the field of energy and in the field of digitization, we are at a real pivotal moment, a real inflection point, where on one side, the conscience or the realization of the world that we need to change the model is really happening. But at the same time, good news, new technologies are coming up at scale, on mature, so that we can change our model. What I see as a real chance is that what we've been working on and developing for the past many years is completely integrated in the Vision 2030. But all of this, we are just technology providers, and we are at the service of your companies to enhance, improve, and deploy your solutions in the kingdom and in your numerous international partnerships. So looking forward to the many opportunities we can open together. Again, many thanks for being together this morning. I look forward to the next coming days of exchanging and building plans for a better future. Thank you.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Jean-Pascal. Okay. Just after seeing the global vision by Jean-Pascal, I will just take a few minutes to show you where is Schneider Electric Saudi Arabia. We are 42 years old in the kingdom. We started here in 1981. The first plant or the first factory had been opened in 1987. We have more than 650 employees. We have over 8,000 of customers and partners dealing with us. More than 200 local partners. We have the one manufacturing and staging facility in Dammam. We have the factory in Riyadh doing our products, and we have the factory in Dammam as well doing equipment, MVLV. So, if we see the vision of Schneider Electric Global, but what are we doing here in Saudi Arabia? We are just capitalizing on what the group is doing. And there is a big opportunity in Saudi Arabia where the Vision 2030 is moving on the same direction of Schneider Electric. Yes, we do have manufacturing plants. We do commodities. Everybody knows non-Schneider by contactor and breakers. But this is not the only Schneider. We are taking this opportunity to show you in the marketplace where are we going. And I believe Jean-Pascal gave us a heads up about the global view. But I can tell you that inside the kingdom, we have lots of expertise that we are proud of, from the young talents, from our local employees, from our local engineers who are implementing the same vision of the group. When we speak about digitization, AI, sustainability, where we always focus how to support all our customers, and namely the government and the energy sector, how to be your consultant in the sustainability part, how to act on the AI. And we usually say there is a kind of reluctance from people. Shall AI replace human? No. We always say that AI will augment the human part. So artificial intelligence, digitization, and innovation in sustainability is our core values in Schneider Electric, across the world, and definitely in Saudi Arabia. Geographically, we are spread across the kingdom, everywhere, from north to south, from east to west. All our partners, point of sales, sales offices are there across the kingdom to support the full market. We speak, as we said, there is more than 70 panel builders supporting the equipment side of the story, more than 25 system integrators and OEMs, more than 100 authorized partners and retailers. These are the manufacturing facilities with the some of our products that we are proudly say it is made in Saudi Arabia. Going after the localization, going after doing better local content between circuit breakers, final distribution boards, variable drives, speed variable drives, medium voltage panels, as well as low voltage panels. There's future plan to localize more and to do and manufacture more products and equipment in the kingdom with the support of the group and with the vision of 2030. And proudly, we are opening our local distribution center in Saudi Arabia to just support the commercial trade of the products from all our factories across the world, to have our local distribution center here, which will be inaugurated actually after tomorrow. So accordingly, we are supporting the market more and more with this local distribution center, better availability, fast delivery, to be beside you the whole time supporting the customers. How can Schneider Electric contribute and support the kingdom vision? We are very much aligned when we speak about digitization, artificial intelligence, sustainability, energy efficiency. As a company who is specialized in energy management and industrial automation, it's our core values to support the kingdom in the same vision, globally and locally and centrally with all our expertise. The vision of the kingdom to have by 2060 a net zero, definitely we can support in that, and we have lots of programs to support the kingdom to reach the goal. We have our innovation research and development in the MAM supporting the R&D the whole time, in the process automation side of the story, in the process control. State-of-the-art electrical equipment and product are manufactured here in the kingdom. We are partners with the Saudi Council of Engineering to do training for the fresh grads engineers, to put them on the most developed and updated solutions of Schneider Electric. So we support the fresh grad. One of our beliefs, and I'm personally promising the country of that, is investment of people. We believe in the fresh grads, we believe in the young fuels, and we find that the best place to invest is investing in people. So training and developing the local young talents is showing the future of Schneider as well the future of the kingdom. So you have our promise of that. We are partnering with the Saudi Industrial Development Fund to promote for the digitization in the kingdom industrial sector, digitizing the existing factories to be able to make more energy efficiency. As Jean-Pascal said, it's really one triangle between the digitization, electrification, to be able to do better energy efficiency. We have 2 buildings, facilities in modern industrial area, Aramco certified. We have the distribution center that I'm proud of now and will be inaugurated after a couple of days. We have the Activa program where we are participating in that to increase the added value of the kingdom. The graduated development program for the Saudi national, where every year we are putting new fresh grad or hiring new fresh grad under the graduated program inside the company. And finally, the SME support by putting the initiatives through supporting the SMEs, what we call the Eco Expert program. We are having now more than 45 partner Eco Expert certified. Finally, I will not make it long, as much as I thank all of you for your participating with us today. I hope that you will have a good time inside the marketplace, and I encourage you and urge you to participate as well to the breakout session, where we will exchange lots of experience together on the new solutions we have and the experience coming from our customers. Thanks a lot for joining us today and wish you a nice time. No, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Shaheen. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, I'd like to just remind you that there's a barcode or QR code at the back of your badge. If you scan that code, you can download the Innovation Summit app. We invite you to take part in our special survey on sustainability in Saudi Arabia through that app. We'd really like to hear from you. Distinguished guests, our next keynote speaker has dedicated his career to promoting excellence and innovation in the energy sector. He has been at the forefront of some of the most important initiatives aimed at creating a more sustainable future for all. His leadership and commitment to this goal have been an inspiration to many. And today, he will share his insights on how we can leverage innovation and technology to drive progress in Saudi Arabia. Energy is all around us. Life is on. Let's give a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, His Excellency Engineer Ahmed Al-Zahrani, Assistant Minister for Development and Excellence at the Ministry of Energy in Saudi Arabia.
السلام عليكم أصحاب المعالي الزميلات والزملاء الحضور الكريم يسعدني أن أشارك اليوم في هذه المناسبة التي نحتفل فيها بقمة الابتكار بتنظيم من شركة شنايدر إلكتريك تحت شعار ابتكار لعالم مستدام، وهي إحدى الإسهامات التي تعكس جهود الابتكار في مجالات الطاقة. وبسبب الحضور الكريم لشركاء النجاح اسمحوا لي أن ألقي كلمتي باللغة الإنجليزية. Your Excellencies, honored delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to be with you today in this special ceremony that demonstrates the collaboration between the government and the private sector toward innovation for a sustainable world. Also, I would like to have a special thank to Schneider Electric for hosting this event for the first time in Saudi Arabia. At the Ministry of Energy, we believe that innovation today has become must-have and not something that is nice to have. In fact, I am sure that all of us here today believe that innovation is key for adapting to the rapid changes in today's world. It is key for economic growth, and it's also key for sustainable operation. In the next few minutes, I will share with you exactly how we are developing Saudi Arabia innovation capacity in the energy sector by sharing, first, how we operate at the Ministry of Energy. Second, how we support product innovation. Third, how we support digital innovation. And finally, how we localize innovation. Let me start by sharing how we operate at the Ministry of Energy. And some of you in this room, especially His Excellency Mr. Osama Zamil, knows exactly how we operate in the Ministry of Energy as ecosystem. And His Excellency today shared with us his experience with the Ministry of Energy during the development of the Saudi Energy Efficiency Program. Also, the Circular Carbon Economy Program. Also, the Energy Sector Localization Program and the Energy Innovation Program. All these programs being developed, managed by the Ministry of Energy. The common success factor across all these programs is our approach of working in an ecosystem as one team. We work with all stakeholders as one aligned ecosystem, which is truly our secret in achieving our target in a very efficient, sustainable, and cost-effective way. Now, allow me to share with you how we support product innovation. Our goal at the Ministry of Energy is to make the Saudi energy sector a global center for innovation. Always they say, walk the talk. And they will give you one example of which we are proud. We established the Energy Innovation Program in alignment with more than 13 stakeholders from academia like KAUST, King Fahd University, King Saud University, KAXT, King Abdulaziz University, also industry like Aramco, SABIC, Aquapower, Taqa, and Saudi Electric Company, and the energy ecosystem. The Energy Innovation Program focuses on bridging the gap between R&D and industry. Actually, when we started our program, we found a lot of gaps. The academia, they work just to publish papers, and the industry are always looking and thinking of a ready-made product. But the universities, they never have the chance to sit down and talk with the industry to see what are their problems. Through the Energy Innovation Program, we had that platform. The program focused on bridging the gap between the R&D and the industry to create a value in the energy sector. As a result, working together, we identify 5 innovation-focused areas that we now call them innovation pillars. And they are circular carbon economy, including hydrogen, conventional power, renewable energy, sustainability, and hydrocarbon. We then work with our stakeholders to evaluate more than 142 projects. We know that we cannot work on all of them. We put a priority and we focus only in 13 projects, which are currently under development. We are even more proud to share with you today an early success story of one of these projects. One of the selected projects is an optical sensor technology. Aramco, KAUST, they work together and they developed this technology. And it was put on hold. When we looked at our pillars, we worked and talked to the industry and to the academia. We identified this as a success story. We looked at the TRL, which is technology readiness level, and we found this is between 6 and 7. And we said, we can here come and help and bridge the gap between the academia and the industry. The ministry was a key enabler in demonstrating this technology and forming a new company to commercialize the product. We work with them. We created the company. We work with the professors who developed this product. Not only here, but we worked with the industry and we identify purchase order for this company. The company now is under development and already they have purchase order from operators. This is only one success story. And we want to create with you, honestly, many more in the future, inshallah. Our role at the ministry is to be enabler by working with all stakeholders to build a very comprehensive innovation enablement framework. Now, I would like to share with you what we are doing in digital innovation to build the energy sector for the future. Digital innovation, such as artificial intelligence, can help us improve our supply reliability, safety, and security, sustainability, and efficiency in our energy ecosystem. As example, every day in the kingdom, we transport more than 2 million products, hydrocarbon products, such as gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, using more than 15,000 trucks. Allow me to ask, how can we monitor such a quantity and to ensure the quality of these products, of all these products? This was a clear example where we use digital innovation in AI and IoT to monitor how products have leave the product, the bulk plant, get transporting through the trucks, and are received by the end user. Imagine all of this, we are monitoring them today from a command center at the Ministry of Energy, similar to what we saw Aramco is doing today. We have a command center and we are monitoring all these products. Now to my fourth point of the day, localization of innovation. One of the Saudi energy ecosystem proudest achievement was to install over 10 million smart meters. Guess what? We did it through the lockdown during the COVID pandemic. Not only this, we did it in 13 months. Not only did we innovate by using the latest narrowband and IoT technology, but we produce these smart meters locally. And we produce 4 million smart meters locally, and we use them today. And today, Saudi Arabia is exporting smart meters to other countries. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, at the Ministry of Energy, we succeeded by innovating as an energy ecosystem toward a common goal as one team. And we would like to work with all of you to make this happen. We are able to execute many innovative nation programs, such as the Energy Efficiency Program, and we are going to have similar success with the Energy Innovation Program. This can be no doubt that innovation is shaping our future and that of generation to come. With visionary leaders supporting us with a clear vision 2030, we will create an even better future for our nation and our strategic partners in the energy ecosystem. Thank you.
For inspiring us by your passion for excellence and sustainability, thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our next keynote speaker, a distinguished diplomat with extensive knowledge and experience in international relations. Under his experience and multiplicity of his positions, he was the link between France and Saudi Arabia. La vie is on. Let us welcome the French ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Mr. Ludovic Pouy, to deliver his keynote speech.
Bonjour. أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، سيداتي وسادتي، السلام عليكم. أنا سعيد جداً بوجودي اليوم معكم لأول قمة الابتكار لشركة فرنسية شنيدر إلكتريك. Cher Jean-Pascal Tricoire, معالي الوزير موسى الزهراني, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. It's a great pleasure and an honor to be with you today. I'm particularly delighted to participate in the first innovation summit of Schneider Electric here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. By the way, I can see that at Schneider Electric, like in Saudi Arabia, green is very beautiful. France is historically a leading country in electricity, and we have built an experience and excellence which has probably no equivalent in the world since more than 2 centuries. Schneider Electric is the best illustration of that. We'll celebrate in a few years the 200 years of Schneider Electric. It's a perfect illustration of French excellence in engineering and electricity. And after the presentations of Jean-Pascal and Mohamed, we can see that a long way has been crossed by the company since 1836, and it's today probably one of the leading companies in the world in this sector. Mr. Chairman, cher Monsieur le Président, I'm so happy that you are here because this is the right place at the right time. Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is witnessing transformation, and if I use the terms of President Macron when he was here in December 2021, said Saudi Arabia is witnessing a social, economic, intellectual, cultural revolution, and France is very proud to be part of this beautiful journey, which is Vision 2030. This is also the right moment for the French-Saudi relationship. It's a very positive momentum we are living together. The past few years have been particularly enriching for the French-Saudi economic partnership. We have nearly 150 French companies established here in the kingdom. Trade figures between France and Saudi Arabia illustrate the dynamism of our economic partnership. 2022, our trade in goods reached 10 billion euros, an increase of 74% compared to 21, and French exportations have risen by 41% to more than 4 billion euros, and French imports from Saudi Arabia reached 6.7 billion euros, an increase of 100%. Many French corporates have already established strong partnerships, and Schneider Electric is one of them, here in Saudi Arabia in many sectors, and they count among the major foreign investors in the kingdom. In 2022, France was Saudi Arabia's third largest investor, with investments amounting to $5 billion. So as you know, our two governments have decided to enhance our already historical partnership to the level of a strategic partnership. Following the visit to Jeddah of President Emmanuel Macron in December 21, and the visit of His Royal Highness to Paris, the Crown Prince, in July 2022, we had a succession of ministerial visits in both ways, feeding a high-level dialogue, both in politics and economics, and all those visits contribute to strengthening our bilateral partnership. We even signed just a few months ago, during the visit of our Minister of Foreign Affairs, with His Royal Highness, the Minister of Energy, Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, an MOU on cooperation in energy. And I think in the next few weeks and months, you will see many things happening between our two countries in this field. In the past few weeks, we had the chance to witness various Saudi economic moments. On May 15th, for the third consecutive year, His Excellency Yasser Al-Rumayyan, the chairman of PIF, was invited by President Macron to participate in the Choose France Summit in Versailles. It was the third consecutive participation of His Excellency to the summit. On this occasion, 28 foreign investments were announced, worth a total of 13 billion euro and accounting for more than 8,000 jobs. For the fourth consecutive year running, France is Europe's most attractive country with 1,259 investment projects in 2022. Today, in Paris, starts a high-level business forum dedicated to the relationship between France and the Gulf Cooperation Council, Vision Gulf 2023, under the patronage of President Macron and His Excellency Bandar al-Khurayev, Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources, is participating to this event. Last but not least, next week, on June 19, we'll have a visit, a high-level visit of His Excellency Khaled Al-Faleh, Minister of Investment. He will organize an investment forum between Saudi and French companies with the participation of several ministers, Minister of Communication and Information Technologies, Minister of Tourism, Minister of Foreign Affairs. And this shows that France is really a key partner for Saudi Arabia in Vision 2030. So, as we witness daily, Saudi Arabia is undergoing a historical reform in all areas, guided by Saudi Vision 2030, with the implementation of major projects covering all sectors, such as digital economy, smart city solutions, innovative mobility, artificial intelligence, and of course, energy transition, which is the subject of the day. All these activities present as many opportunities for French companies and converge with our label, La French Tech, the French Tech. In 2014, the French government launched a major collective effort to promote the growth and influence of French digital startups. With nearly, today we have 22,000 startups with nearly 700,000 employees. And in 2022, the French startups achieved 8.3 billion euro revenues, 23% more than in 21, and they raised 13.5 billion euros, 17% more than in 21. So it's a great success. President Macron announced in 2020 that he wanted to reach 25 unicorns, French unicorns, in 2025, and last year we reached 27 unicorns for France. Thank you. So, of course, beyond tech, France has, and its companies have a particularly strong presence in the energy sector, and this year's summit, so Innovation for a Sustainable World, is very important. We are all aware of Saudi Arabia's commitments to this matter. It was recalled by Jean-Pascal and Mohamed. Following the Paris agreements in 2015, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia took an active part in related consultation and has pledged its commitment to meet the goals. So in 2021, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince announced the objective of carbon neutrality for KSA by 2060. This declaration was made on the occasion of the first Saudi Green Initiative Forum and came just days before the COP26 in Glasgow. So Saudi Arabia has reaffirmed its ambitions for a deep change in favor of sustainable development. I personally strongly believe that France is a key partner and has a key role to play in supporting these changes. And therefore, I would like to reaffirm our full support, particularly through our companies, in implementing this strategy. We'll have a visit in the coming weeks of our Minister of Energy, Mrs. Pannier-Runacher, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to launch the French-Saudi Task Force on Energy Transition, especially on hydrogen. As you know, France has a very low carbon electricity mix, owing it to its large nuclear fleet, the second largest fleet in the world. 85% of the electricity in France is generated from low carbon energy sources, and our country legislated a net zero emission target for 2050 in its 2019 Energy and Climate Act. So in all these areas, the French companies, and Schneider Electric, of course, at the head of them, can provide transfer of technology, training, development of skills, which are high priorities for Vision 2030. To conclude, I would like to congratulate once again Schneider Electric for organizing their first innovation summit here in Saudi Arabia, I hope it's not the last one. I'm sure it is not. We'll have many occasions, of course, to support Schneider Electric in the coming weeks and months. And I hope that this will be the occasion, the 2 days event today, to deepen our partnership, cooperation, and to move towards a more sustainable world. Between us, my conviction is that sky is the limit. شكرا جزيلا. عاشت الصداقة بين فرنسا والمملكة العربية السعودية. Thank you.
شكراً لكلماتك سعادة السفير. That was nothing short of magnifique. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to stand in front of you all at an event focused on powering a digital sustainable world. Our esteemed panelists are all experts in their respective fields and have dedicated their careers to driving innovation, sustainability, and progress. But before we hear from them, allow me to invite our moderator to stage. With an astonishing force of over 50,000 employees, Manish Pant leads the international operations of Schneider Electric and is part of its executive committee. Manish Pant, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll maximize the use of time and thank you for, I want to echo my thanks for being here today with us on this Innovation Summit. I think we have been electrified by the speakers before and I must say that really positively energized that how aligned we are between Schneider Electric, what we bring into the kingdom, and how close we are in terms of our thinking for the Saudi plan. And, you know, the alignment is not just in terms of things that we have been doing, but also in terms of color. And that is something that brings us even more closer. I also want to just add to what Mohammed Shaheen has been saying, that this kingdom is a key market for us, is a key market for the region of Middle East and also beyond. And we are committed to ensuring that we accelerate our development in the country. Now, having said that, I would like to set the stage for the discussion that we are going to have with 4 eminent panelists who are going to join us on stage. We have been hearing before about how today technologies exist that are able to put us on the path of 1.5 degrees temperature rise, and which is something that we need. It is a lot about how we can manage the demand side between energy efficiency as well as electrification, which is going to be almost 55% of the equation. And there is another side which is on the supply side, where decarbonization of supply is going to bring in the other effort in order to bring down 70% of all the decarbonization that we can address through both demand and supply management. So we have been discussing about the technologies. We've heard from how the government here is enabling those transitions. Now let's see how, things are happening on the ground, where, our eminent panelists are going to share about the deployment of these technologies in different sectors where they come from. And we hope to have, over the next 30 minutes, discussions around that. So, as we are all set here, it's perfect timing. I would like to invite Dr. Dina Al-Nadi, who is a thought leader of circularity and sustainability. She's also the chairwoman of Circle Economy company that she started. Thank you. Have a seat. And I would like to also welcome Mr. Bart Bosmans, who is the CTO of Aqua Power, a company that was we heard His Excellency Minister talk about. So welcome to our panel. Then I would like to invite Mr. Eric Baduri, who is the CEO of Ederad Group. He is a founder and CEO of Ederad Group, which is into data centers and infrastructure management in the kingdom. Finally, I would like to invite Mr. Nasser Abni, who is the CEO of Arasco. He's a leading food security company here in the kingdom. And we will, a key element of, I guess, when we talk about energy, it's first about human energy, which is about food. So thank you for being with us. Okay. So let's start, and I would like to start with you, Dr. Dina, about we heard the minister talk about circularity, which is one of the key pillars of what the government is doing here. Maybe you can tell us a bit about your organization and how you're contributing to that.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank Schneider for shedding the light on the sustainability and doing this summit. Because, yes, as we see, Saudi Arabia has a strong drive now in the kingdom and also leading the way in the MENA region and, inshallah, also on a global level. So we are not only now following sustainability or following the rule, we are actually leading the way, inshallah. And it's wonderful to see Schneider and what we've heard from the president today, the chairman, and the Saudi president also. The directions that this company is going in is very impressive.
Thank you.
Chapeau to that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Circular economy, we've heard also His Excellency speaking. And the Ministry of Energy has taken also the lead, actually global lead, not only in Saudi Arabia, with the circular carbon economy. Now, this was a first of its kind. It was not ever mentioned before anywhere in the world, the circular carbon economy. And this was a beautiful initiative of the kingdom because it's exactly about, we're a country of fossil fuel and we're a country of what is considered a carbon disaster